Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I'm Stephany Kawaja, your host here, health and lifestyle coach. I've coached 100 plus women in transforming not only their bodies, but their minds so they can reach peak performance and perform at their best and happiest in all areas of their lives. So, in today's episode, we are going to be going over the three key ways that I teach my clients to kick their butts into gear when they're losing motivation. So for some reason, just this week, I think it's because it's summertime and everyone's really busy with so many things, not just their, work, but also getting outside and so many social events that they're starting to feel less motivated in their fitness journeys, especially when they see their progress stalling. And this especially goes for you if you're someone that has tried a lot of unsustainable practices before to look a certain way, and you're finally starting to focus on the sustainable route. But because of that, you're feeling like your progress is stalling and you're lacking the motivation to keep going. You're also probably maybe doubting yourself. Am I doing the right things? And is this actually what's going to get me to my goal? So, what we're going to do today is I'm going to walk you through the three key things that you need to do right now. So get a pen and paper, make sure you're taking notes because if you're lacking motivation, you're finding it hard to stay consistent to your goals. These are the three top reasons why most of my clients have this and what we do to get them out of it. So let's go over number one. So the very first thing we need to look at is what are you actually tracking as a success metric. So many of my clients before coming to work with me will just focus on one thing and one thing only, and that is the weight and the number on the scale. Not that that is a bad metric at all, and the number on the scale can actually be a very great indicator of the progress that you're making if you are someone that is trying to lose weight or lose body fat. However, this is not the only thing that should be tracked. But the problem is when we just focus on the weight on the scale, if you're someone that is starting to take sustainable approaches or someone that has seen, weight loss and all of a sudden your progress is stalling, if the only thing that you are looking at to see if you have been successful in this journey is your weight on the scale, then of course, what is going to happen the one week or the one time that you do not lose weight? You're going to get discouraged, you're going to get frustrated, you're going to think that you messed up that week, and you're going to start getting in your head and you're going to start lacking that motivation to keep going if the only thing that you are looking for right now is to see changes on the scale. So while that's a really great metric, there are so many other things that we actually can track to make sure you know that you're making progress. So first of all, if we're just talking about physical progress, we can look at our body measurements, progress photos, how are you fitting in your clothes? All of these things can be very, very helpful to understand, hey, even though I'm not seeing the changes on the scale, I'm actually losing body fat and building muscle because my pants are still getting, a little bit looser, or, I'm actually seeing a lot more muscle definition in these photos or in the mirror. So that's the first thing. But the second thing is to recognize, especially if you're someone that has come from, some restrictive diets or tried fad diets, and you are really wanting to focus on not just how you look, but how you feel. If you want to have more energy, if you want to have more mental clarity, if you want to have less food noise so that you can just feel, like you have more mental space to spend on other things in your life, then those are all things that should be metrics as well. And it's so, so common for my clients before working with me to not track those things and really recognizing that those things are all progress. So, as an example, I have one client who used to overeat a ton. Anytime she got stressed, she would look to food. And because of that, this created a very negative mental spiral where if she then overate, she felt really guilty. This was weighing on her head all day. Then she felt like kind of her day was ruined and she just wasn't happy. She just felt kind of negative. She kind of just was operating throughout her day as if she wasn't doing the best that she could. And that really weighed on her in the business that she was running, in her friendships, and her overall confidence. And so last week she came to me and she has actually not binged or overeaten in multiple months. But last week she had mentioned to me that she felt like nothing was working well. And I had asked her, "What is your win for this week?" And she said, "Honestly, I don't have a win. I don't know if I can find a win." And I said to her, "In this really stressful week, have you gone to overeat and binge?" And she said, "No, I actually haven't." So what I said to her was, well, that is a win in itself because the fact that you in a normal situation and your old patterns of behavior, you would have gone to food as a coping mechanism. Then you would have felt guilty. Then you would have felt like you were spiraling. You would have felt negative throughout the rest of the week. And all of your other habits would have fallen off because of that one thing. You didn't do that. And so that's actually a win. And why is that so important to make sure we're tracking? Because if you're more positive, you're recognizing all of the amazing progress you're making outside of the scale, that is going to help you stay more motivated and it's going to help you want to stay consistent even in those times that you don't see that physical progress. So, what I want you to do right now, if you're someone listening to this and you're like, oh shit, Steph, I have only been focusing on how I look or on the physical changes that I've been making, what I want you to go do is go make a list of every single thing that is a non-scale victory. All of the things that you know you're happy with, that you're starting to feel better, that you're starting to have more energy, more mental clarity. And why are all these things important to you? Are you showing up better at work? Are you less irritated with your partner? Do you have more energy to play with your kids? Because at the end of the day, fitness, sure, it's about how you want to look, but it's also about how you feel and your quality of life. And so if you're operating from the lens of just looking a certain way, then that is all you're ever going to see. You're never going to be fully fulfilled in the process because it's not something that is sustainable for us to always be monitoring every single day and every second, every hour. Okay. So that's step number one. Step number two, if you're finding it really hard to stay motivated because you're looking at your goals and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm so far from where I know I can be. I'm so far from the goal. Whether you have a lot of weight that you want to lose, whether you feel like you're not someone who's disciplined and you can't stick to a routine, or whether you're, an athlete and you're trying to train for a high rocks race like me, or you're trying to train for a marathon and running and you feel really, really far behind in where you should be, this is really hard sometimes, and I've been there. I'm even there right now at the High Rocks training. I've just gotten started in my High Rocks training, and I feel like, wow, the pace that I want to be running at, for example, is way faster than where I am right now. But the thing is, for me, if I were to look at how far I was from that goal and just focus on the fact that I'm far, that is not going to motivate me because I'm just going to think it feels impossible. I don't know if I'm going to get there by then. And I'm going to start having this negative mental spiral that is going to further demotivate me. And instead, what is so crucial to do in this time is to really break down this massive goal that you have into smaller chunks. It's amazing to have this goal. You should always know what you're working towards, but making these goals more digestible is going to make you so much more likely to follow through because it's going to be an easier task at hand. So, as an example, if you're someone that wants to work out 5 days a week or you want to get more steps in, okay, let's say you have a 2,000 step on average right now and you want to get to 10,000 steps eventually. Well, first we need to get to 3,000, then we need to get to 4,000, then we need to get to 5,000. So, really crucial to actually look at what is the larger goal that I have, what is the timeline that I want to be there by, and how can I break this down to make this more digestible, and what are these specific habits that I need to focus on to get there. So, if we were to look at this step example, if you want to get to 10,000 steps a day, you want to look at what could I do right now as a really small actionable step to increase my progress towards this goal. Maybe it's a 10-minute walk after every meal. Or maybe it's just one walk. I wake up 15 minutes earlier in the morning and I go for one walk. And once you do that consistently, give yourself a week, then you can increase it. Give yourself another week, then you can increase it. And you also want to be using positive reinforcement throughout this time so that you can actually find joy in the journey. Because if you're always looking for what more you can do, but you're not also appreciating where you're at currently and how much progress you've made, of course you're always going to feel demotivated because you're always just chasing something more. So not only is it important to break down your goals into smaller chunks, but it's also very crucial to actually positively reinforce those behaviors. How can you positively reinforce these behaviors? Well, first of all, we can give ourselves a little gift. We can get our nails done after a certain amount. We can give ourselves a little treat. We can actually just put stickers every single day. There's a lot of things with like habit trackers when you're on a streak. I don't know if anyone's ever actually used, let's say Duolingo, for example, for learning a language. They gamify it because they give you this streak system. They give you really fun rewards. They congratulate you throughout the way. There's a lot of positive reinforcement. And makes you really excited to want to keep going. You don't want to lose your streak. I met someone who had like a 365-day streak for full year from Duolingo. So we can use these same task tactics in your journey to gamify it, to make it more fun and rewarding, and to positively reinforce the behaviors that you're having. Okay. And third and finally, we really want to start looking at your language. And I'm going to say it, I'm going to call you out right now because I love you and your excuses. Okay. When I'm lacking motivation, the biggest thing that I notice is that I'm talking so negatively to myself and I'm not taking accountability for anything. Oh, the weather's really gross, or I'm really tired, or work's really busy, or I just don't have time. And these are all very valid feelings, but feelings aren't always real. Just because it's raining doesn't mean you can't go on a walk. Put some rain boots on and a raincoat and an umbrella. So just because you feel like you're busy doesn't mean that you don't have a goal that you're working towards. And so if we start kind of believing these excuses and treating them like they're the end all be all, like they're just a fixed thing that's happening to us, we're not going to take accountability. We're not going to feel empowered or motivated to keep going. So I'm going to give you a very clear example for, let's say, with meal prepping. So let's say you plan to meal prep every Sunday. And the problem is one weekend you went on a trip and you got home really late Sunday night. And then you did not end up meal prepping for the entire week. And in your mind, you're like, well, I was away on vacation, so I didn't meal prep. I don't know if you heard that sentence. I'm going to repeat it one more time. I was away on vacation or for the weekend, so I couldn't meal prep. There's one word in that sentence that is what you want to watch out for. I don't know if can you guess what it is? If you guess the word so, then you are right. We are saying that the reason we did not meal prep is because we went away that weekend. I went away, so I didn't meal prep. But was it the weekend away's fault that you went away? Who's who's the one responsible for meal prepping? Is it your vacation? No, it's you. So really, in this situation, you're the reason that you didn't meal prep because it was a choice that you made. And so my point here is that the more we take accountability of where we're at and what we're in control of, the more we'll feel empowered to change because we know it's on us. If we're using language like so, or I'm gonna try, or you're talking about your workouts like, oh, I have to go work out, or like, I should go do this, things are gonna become like they feel more like a chore rather than a choice that you're making because you want to do it. No one is forcing you to be here in your journey. No one is making you prioritize your fitness. You're doing it because you want to feel good in your body. You want to feel healthy. You want to feel confident. And you know that there's something better for you out there. And so, with that being said, you're listening to this right now and you're losing motivation. I want you to remember why you started this in the first place and what about it is so important that made you decide to do it because no one is forcing you to do this. This is a choice in itself for you. You could absolutely decide to not keep going, or you can decide to get out of the excuses, to recognize the excuses that you're making, and give yourself a reason to do it. So, if this third one really hit home for you, because I know that this is often one of the biggest ones, action items for you is go look at all of the habits, all of the things in your life right now that you're either using excuses for, all the justifications you're making to not do something, and the language that you're using to not do something, and ask yourself, is that something I really want to believe? Is that the life that I want to live? Do I want to believe that I have to go to the gym and the gym sucks, but I'm making myself go and or whatever? Or is it, no, I want to go to the gym, even if I don't feel like it right now. I want to go because it makes me feel better after. Or I don't have to meal prep, but I want to, and I'm going to meal prep because I know it sets me up for the week and it actually saves more time. So, really looking at the language that you're using, are you focusing and approaching your habits from an accountability lens, or are you approaching them from limiting fixed beliefs that are really making you feel stuck? and not wanting to progress. And that is one of the key things that I see a lot of my clients experience before working with me, and even sometimes throughout the program, that we really have to reprogram how they think about their habits. In my program, it's called the Habit Reframe Method. And what we do to make sure if this starts to come up and appear in their journey, that we rewire the way that they think about their habits so that they can overcome these mental hurdles. So if this was interesting to you, and if this is something like mindset and the motivation topic that you want to hear more about, make sure to comment below. If you're watching on my YouTube or my podcast, please make sure to subscribe. Commenting or posting a review if you've been an active listener is something that will really, really help me. And I really hope you enjoyed this episode. I can't wait to see you in the next one, and we'll see you guys soon. Have a great day.